Hi and welcome. Yeah, we're live. Got the right camera on. So welcome to the first live stream of April. It's April 15 and it's the first live stream of April. So, but we did a Zoom call last Friday. So we started the month with on Zoom, which was fun. And yeah, I had another impractical, let's call it spontaneous idea to do, and I'm going to continue with that today. So let me see if I can. All right, so it's really long. I can keep doing this, but it's gonna like flip over my head. Right? Super practical. We're gonna be working on this today. This area. I left it open for no reason, like you can put paint on it, doesn't really matter. But we're gonna try and do some kind of moon thing here. Yeah, that's it, really. I hope this paper is gonna hold up. Let's see who's in the chat today. Ariana was here. Hi, Kelly. I like your hair. Thank you. I cut it a while ago. And then I still like continuously wear it up, so nobody really notices that I cut my hair, but that's okay. Ow. Hey mom. She doesn't like it when I say mom on the live stream or in the Zoom call. Does anybody else not ever call their mom by their first name? Because I don't think I ever, like, if I introduce her, I will. But I think 9 out of 10 times I will still introduce her as, yo, this is my mom. And then she says her name, right? Hey, Phoebe. So we're gonna switch. So I have my camera in a different position. Let me show you. And because I was gonna do, like, I want to pre-mix some stuff, and before everything goes to shit here, I thought maybe put this on a flat surface. So I sort of re-angled my camera to a flat surface, and then when we got that done, just give me a few seconds to redirect the camera to the easel. So what I have, it's been a long time since I did anything like that, so no guarantees here, okay? I have some stuff here, and I order from a German supplier and everything is in German. I just refuse to speak German. So it's called marble dust. And some of you asked last time, what is it, what's it called, etc. So it says here, it has nothing to do with marble, like maybe on a chemical level, but it says here a pure white calcite, so calcite with a C, somewhat coarser grained than chalk. Due to its water tolerance, can also be used as a base for frescoes. So if you ever want to paint like Da Vinci style, Michelangelo style stuff in a church, that can be done with this stuff. Also equally suitable as a filler for pigments and primers. And so whenever you hear people say cheap paint feels a little bit chalky, it's probably because of the addition of calcite, right? Because it's a cheap filler pigment. It's white. I'm going to show you. I'm going to take it out of the thingy. It's white, but when you mix it, it presents itself as transparent. So it's not an opaque white pigment. And so it's really suitable for a number of stuff. I have titanium white here. I'm not interested, by the way, in its translucent qualities. I'm interested in its ability basically to thicken paint and make it more grainy. I'm so bad with these words. I'm just gonna, like, we're just gonna give it a try. I hope my white, stop that. I was gonna say I hope my white paint bottle doesn't fart, but it always farts. And just because I don't really like hold on. I don't really want to make it completely white because my plan is to glaze over it, and I just don't want a stark white surface, so I'll add a little bit of umber, probably. You say mama and papa. Yeah. Yeah, I used to say that too. Now I say ma. Ma. We're getting fancy today, yes. Paint farts, I know. Hey, Linda. Oh, I got permission to call her mom. I'm gonna call her mom. All right, so I'm gonna, here, let me show you. It's, look. Is it showing? It's a bucket of dust. See? It's dust. It's literal chalk. And now everybody's gonna flip their shit about how I'm supposed to use like whatever grade mask, but we sat in schoolrooms for years, literally covered in this shit, so I'm gonna try and not worry about it. I don't do this often, and I recommend it if you like use kilos of this stuff daily. Wear a mask or a hazmat suit or something like that. So this is titanium white acrylic paint. Out of the tube, right? And it's not bad. Like Amsterdam Standard paint is not bad in terms of its body, but I want just a little bit more. See, if I put my brush in it, it flattens a little bit. It's a little bit meh. So what we can do is just try and add, maybe not that much. This is how I end up with an absolute load of whatever it is, because I always add too much and then have to add more paint and then and mix. Really, that's all there is to it. And I found this stuff works nicely with acrylic paint. I have a video on my YouTube channel where I add too much, if you will. And then what happens is you get crackles, yes, cracks. You know the crackle paste that they sell for $1 million at the art supply store? That's basically it. So if you want that, you can make that as well, a crackle texture. So with acrylic paint, you need to find a little bit of a balance between adding body and adding so much that it's going to crack. Now, if it is going to crack, I don't really mind, because it's kind of cool. All right, so it's a little bit stiffer. And you can see that the brush outlines, I don't know if you can see it. Maybe my light is filling it out. You'll see it when I put it on. I'm just gonna add a little bit more. Because who needs boundaries, right? Just gonna. The one thing that you need to consider, though, with acrylic paint when you do this, it's gonna dry even faster, because you're basically adding more pigment to the same amount of acrylic binder. And I always feel like it speeds up the drying time. I think that's like thick enough. I'm gonna try and get the lumps out a little bit. Not add a little bit of raw umber, just so it's not so crazy white. So the reason I'm using titanium white, you can use gesso, you can also use acrylic medium, acrylic binder, any binder, any color, anything. It's acrylic paint, it doesn't care. The reason I'm using acrylic titanium white and not gesso is because I don't want it to be more absorbing. Because I want to glaze over it when it's set and dry, so I don't need it to be absorby. My English is peak tonight. Just, all right, let me catch up. Could I crush up some white children's chalk to try this? I have one of those crusher bowl thingies. I forget what you call it. I think it's like a pestle and mortar type of thing. Or you mean no, I think you mean a pestle and mortar. Yeah, I think you could, actually. Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't. Like, with everything, they have all these grades and they have all these la 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 la, but well, at the end of the day, yeah, you can just crush up chalk and give it a try. Mortar and pestle, yes. Crackle paste, I have some. Yeah, I have some of that too, and it was really expensive. And then I found out that you can just make it, and I felt a little bit robbed, or no, I felt a little bit stupid, and I felt robbed. So you can make it. My husband made panko from old bread using it. Yes, that is the way to go. That is how it's done. Like, I literally throw everything in my thingy, my mortar and pestle. Don't care. Crushable. I actually have one. You should probably at some point maybe dedicate one to crushing art supplies. I have two, one for food, one for art supplies, right? Plaster of Paris, yes. Hi, Jen, by the way, hi. plaster. I think plaster of Paris is just like, is it another grade of calcite? From what I understood, it may be a really fine grind of calcite. I feel like at the end of the day, it's all calcite. So yeah, so let me redirect my camera quickly to my work surface. There we go. Whenever I see an expensive art supply going forward, you're gonna try and search. Yeah. Yeah, that would probably be like, for some art supplies, hold on. I feel like it's really enough to just be like inspired by it. All right, we have the sticky stuff. Oh, I got some powder left there. So we're gonna, yep. I'm such a sucker for this. Like, sometimes I wonder why I can be so difficult with everything needing to have like a purpose, you know what I mean? And sometimes I just want to make something up like this and just stick it on something and not care. And it has this weird tactile therapeutic effect. Like, why? If I mix this up and just stick it on something and throw it away, that's literally cheaper than therapy. I'm gonna actually try and remember that this time. Kind of make a point out of it. Let's see. Many teachers use the student paint a lot. Good paints or, yeah, like, you know, student paints, some student paints these days are so excellent. They're a gazillion times better than anything they had 150 years ago. And there are also student paints, and I'm talking oil that have a decent range of single pigments, right? And that was always a little bit the thing with student paints. So they lacked those single pigment tubes. And single pigments are good if you wanna mix clean colors, you know. Have to be layered a few times for the bold bright color. Yes, that would be true. Yeah. I think the pigment load is definitely lower. I mean, they gotta save on something, and pigment is always the most expensive part of a tube of paint. Oh, I'm kind of happy this comes across pretty decently. I can tell on YouTube. Because my light is coming from that direction. I'm on the search for some oil paints. I found the Gamblin 1980 oil color. Yeah, that one's good. That one's nice. Expert quality is so high in pigment, it makes mixing so different. Yeah, it is a different thing. Like, you add a little bit and it throws everything off. So I also feel like the student grade part in student grade paints is also because you need a little bit less of a delicate hand, maybe. But yeah, it can be very different. Yeah, what I wanted to do was make like these little indentations. But with what? I don't have anything. Hold on. Like desperately looking around. I have so much junk. I'm like, do I have a small round object? No, but I do have a stone. Okay, maybe. I also have tinier stones. They're not really super round. Wait. I have like these beads. That's actually not. Stay. Okay, that's not half bad. I'm gonna try. I'm trying desperately not to get this stuff on my nails. See if we can add some thicker. Found a rounder stone. Yeah. That is cool. That is legit like a moon crater. I'm way too happy with myself. Do I have a... Okay, that's not bad. Sorry, I'm just walking around here. Let's catch up. Are the cadmiums toxic in oil paints? Yes, they are. Yes, so cadmiums are not. I don't know what the thing is with high, medium, low toxicity, but cadmium is considered, I think, a heavy metal. So I would not slather it on my body. No, I would not do that. So it's a heavy metal, right? Yeah. There is, by the way, if you go to student grade area, you can find cadmium hues. And usually cadmium hues are, so the hue means that it sort of tries to mimic the strength and the color of cadmium red or cadmium yellow or whatever, but it's not cadmium. And so what they sometimes use is pyrrole, which is a really nice red. Yeah, it's a really nice red. So you can, yeah, you can try and find that. You know, honestly, in my whole life, I've never owned an actual cadmium. I don't use a lot of primary red, but even then I did used to have a pyrrole red, right? So you can try and replace it with that. Cadmium is toxic when you inhale the power. Yes, so when it comes to toxicity, in pigments, I think inhaling is the number one, how do you say that? It's the number one no-no. Okay, so you should always try to prevent inhaling pigments. It's really not good. But you should absolutely 100% avoid inhaling heavy metals. Such as cadmium and lead. And in oil paint also cobalt, but I actually like pyrrole red. I like Hansa yellow. Yeah, Hansa yellows are also great. I don't know if Gamblin has a student grade. I thought that 1980. I don't know why they call it 1980. The 1980s were not that great, but okay. I thought that that was their student grade line, but I could be mistaken. Culprit. What do you mean by culprit, Ariana? So sometimes when you do when you stick things into acrylic paint, you get that, when you pull it off, you get that mwah, and it makes that webby texture that I don't always like. Not with this one, so that's kind of fun. All right, now we have 2 craters. And you can, oh, that's really cool. I thought who turned on the light, but it's actually the sun going down. This is already dry, right? So, yeah. This is still wet a little bit. Yeah, this is also still a little bit wet. But this area here, that was pretty thin. It's already dry. So you can add calcite to oil paint as well. And I did that a lot with the works I did for A Whisper of Hope, my series in 2023. And you can add a certain amount of calcite to your white, and you make it very, very thick. And you can also add some calcite with some oil. If you want it even thicker, you can use stand oil, which is a thickened linseed oil. And you get that really nice, ropey, almost gum-like paint. And that is the one feature that I find really difficult, and I'm almost starting to believe it's a little bit impossible to get, is that super ropey texture. It's really hard to get with acrylic binder. I have not been able to get that right. I actually have a jar of, here, let me show you. I have a jar, they call it tar gel, and it's almost that, but when you drip it, the shape that it makes is different. And I find it really interesting to see how when you do a lot of, like when you work with a lot of this stuff, you start to sort of get this sense of stuff that is exclusive for acrylic and stuff that is exclusive to oil. And it's interesting because it's really subtle. You were trying to find a word, number one. Toxic. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. Like the most dangerous entry into your body is your lungs for heavy metals and other stuff. Like your skin. For instance, a lot of people think that if they touch lead white paint, that lead is going to be directly absorbed into your body. And it's not, because lead is a pretty big particle, and in an oil binder, your skin is actually a pretty good protector. That is not to say that you should touch lead white paint. Please do not. But the danger especially lies in when you start dissolving lead white paint, or cleaning it with solvents, or cleaning it with water and soap and stuff like that. But a really big issue is grinding it into dust, or having it in powder form. It says the cadmium light, cadmium toxic, and I need good ventilation. Oh, okay. Is that a thing, like with, is ventilation gonna help? I don't know if it works like that. Is it a genuine cadmium? You can look up the pigment number. It's not giving off a lot. It says water soluble would be better. Better for what? Like lower toxicity? I don't know if there is a water soluble true cadmium. I know that I think cadmium is not really compatible with acrylic binder, so you can't really find an acrylic cadmium red. Lower toxicity due to solvents. Yeah, okay, but you don't have to use solvents. There are no solvents in paint. This poor stone. Okay, I'm only mildly obsessed with making craters now. Did you see the photos of the moon they made? Like I don't know why. Like I've seen them before. We took a little robot guy around it and stuff like that, but I don't know. I just think it's cool. There are people that made the photos. I may also have like a bit of a crush on Victor Glover. Oh my. That is a very attractive man. I think they're all like attractive because they're so cool. Can you imagine? You guys see the splashdown? Because I stayed up until like 2 a.m. to make sure they didn't crash. And it's this tiny little pod that they're in, going through the atmosphere, withstanding Lord knows how many G's. I think it was 4G heat, anxiety or whatnot, and then being pulled back by a parachute and then another parachute and then crashing into the ocean. And these people came out like, yo, we're cool. If I don't get a good night's sleep, I wake up like I just rose from my grave, and these people just stepped out of that pod after 10 days in space, being the coolest people ever. They sounded so cool and yeah, I know, right? Ooh. All right, are we cool? Like I think it's looking good, like this. Maybe I'll add a little bit of randomness here. Got a lot of paint left. Make it a little bit coarser here, a little bit rougher. You can get it pretty smooth if you want, which also has its own charm with like a palette knife. I'm thinking if I add a little bit of texture here in the front, it might give a little bit of illusion that it's coming forward a little bit. And when we do the glazing, we can darken the edges. cool. Hey, Rosie. I don't know what it is about water soluble oils. But I also don't vibe very well with them. I don't know if it's a smell. Like I know there are no like weird levels of whatever in it, but it's a smell that yeah, made me feel weird. I'm gonna make a little bit of noise here. We were talking about it Friday how Zoom has such a good noise canceling system that when I do this, you don't hear it. Sorry I missed it. Did you end up adding a smidge of umber to tint this? Yes, I did. I added some raw umber. It was a golden open acrylic raw umber. It's still looking pretty white. Like golden open's not that strong, but yeah. So what it does, it kind of takes the blue-ish out of the titanium white, like the starkish whiteness out. And I think somewhere in my brain I wanted to add more and then immediately forgot. But this is good enough. Like, it's just you. My camera's shaking. Bring on the art noises, yeah. I like the scritchy noises too. see if we can touch the edge a little bit. Woo! Is it dry? Ah, that's a little bit dry. Oh, that glazing is gonna look so good next time. Like, I obviously am a super patient person. I can totally wait. I'm just like touching the edge because I can. That's cool. It's gonna be even cooler when it's dry. I'm gonna not touch it anymore now. Okay, got paint on my nails, got plaster on my nails. Yeah. I need to wash this stone. It's I think it's a rose quartz is also what you call it, a rose quartz. So I could be making like stone in the moonlight jokes right now, which my mom would appreciate until I see her this weekend, and then she'll probably slap me. My mom loves stones, like, you know what I mean, like the stone, like the pretty ones, the nice ones, the ones that have like meaning and energies and stuff like that. So some of those can be like in a water or something, like when the moon is full. And then yeah, sometimes she tells me, oh, the moon is gonna be full. You could put your stones in the water in the full moon thingy. And I'm always like, yeah, I'll go find a brick to put in the moonlight. Anyways, then we joke because we love each other. But now I made a moon with actual rose quartz impressions. I would just like to point that out. Thank you. Let me see what's going on in the chat. You must send a picture of this painting to NASA. That would be cool. That would be cool. Oh, the photos are so great. Like, you should really go take a look. Cat red light, PR 108. Oh, I gotta look that up. I don't know the pigment number for cadmium, for like genuine cadmium, because I'm not in that price range. So you can just Google the pigment number itself. It'll tell you a lot if it's like the actual genuine. Got paint on my nose. Yeah, you can look that up if it's. But just to be clear, cadmium as a pigment that is bound in oil, the way that it is when you buy paint in a tube, will never fly through the air, okay? That is just not how it works. So if you wear gloves and you don't put paint on your face or your body or whatever, and you don't use solvents or just the paint out of the tube, nothing's gonna fly at you. So that being said, I get a headache from water-soluble oil paints that are just water-soluble oil paints. And it could be that my migraines are triggered by certain smells, or a combination of anxiety and smell and a combination of Lord knows what. So I'm not saying that it can't cause anything. I'm just saying that the actual pigment particle cannot release itself from the oil binder without a solvent or without anything like that. Okay? So that's, when it comes to pigments, that oil binder is your safety thing. If you don't get it on you, don't get it in you, you're pretty much good. Okay. Love your nails. Thank you. I love them too, except I need to restore them now. Anyways, how long does it take to dry? I think this will dry in like 6 hours probably. I think I'll actually be dry in like 6 hours, but it's evening here, so it'll be dry the next day. It's very plastery, right? So like I said, these edges are pretty much already dry, and just this is raised, I think, to maybe max at the peak 3 millimeters. So I'm gonna take a look tomorrow. If I put in too much calcite, it may crack. I don't think it will because it's on paper, so but we'll see in the morning. I like to paint on rocks. That is also cool. I like that people do the dot thing, you know, just generally paint rocks. Kelly's a rock collector. That is cool. You should show some rocks on the Zoom call. I think I was gonna show my knitted animals. We should try and remember that. I've used cadmiums in acrylic and haven't had an issue yet. So that would be a cadmium hue, because I don't think you can bind genuine cadmium in an acrylic binder. So that would be like a fake cadmium. I think if I get this set and try a couple colors at a time with nothing else, see what happens. Yeah, give it a try. Yeah, if you're really unsure, just buy one tube. My mom loves me for it. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's all I want. All right. That was it. Thank you for joining me. Will the pigment numbers be the same on acrylic and oil? It's not a stupid question, but they are, yeah. Pigment numbers are the same in acrylic, in oil, in car paint, in enamel, anything that you bind it with. So that will be the same. Yeah. I don't know when the next time we meet is. Maybe it's I think it's next Friday on Zoom, if you want to join. Thank you for watching my little moon. I'm gonna try and clean up my stone and my nails, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time when we glaze over my cool little made-up moon. All right, thank you so much, and I will see you on social media. Have a great day or evening, and talk to you soon. Mwah. Bye.